All right, I will call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
All right, Commissioner Tindaro, if you could you please welcome everyone to our township meeting?
I would be glad to. Welcome all. I want to thank you for coming to the meeting. Feel free to ask any questions you may need to know the information. And thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Lorraine. And in honor of Veterans Day, I would like to recognize those officers who serve our country, and now serve the Cowan community. We have Sergeant Joshua Whistler, Detective Tyler Reese, Officers Michael Cabri, Travis Hodes, Colin Kaiser, Charles Norwood. And Officer Norwood is currently deployed on active military duty. Thank you for your service. All right, next on the agenda, citizens to be heard. Excuse me, these are for agenda items only. So we have a full crowd here. It's great to see everyone. If anyone has a comment or anything to speak about on the agendas, please step forward. I do not see anyone at this time. Anybody in Zoom? Yes, Mark, welcome.
Welcome. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mark.
I'm asking your grace for this question because it's not only agenda, but I think it might involve the solicitor who generally leaves before we're allowed to ask other questions. So it's very simple. Last night, Mainline Health held their third meeting on the proposal they're doing on Lloyd Farm. The only thing that concerns me is that at the meeting, their senior vice president, they had so many people there with no cards and things like that. So I don't know her name and what she was exactly charged with, but her senior vice president in charge of the whole shebang. They did a walkthrough meeting with the planning commission. Now, I thought all township and governmental meetings had to be public, and that one was not. So how did they do a walkthrough meeting with the planning commission? How is that allowed? And what should we do about it?
Ms. Camp, did you want to comment?
I'm not sure what he means by a walkthrough meeting. The applicant did attend the last planning commission meeting, and that was a sunshine advertised public meeting. So they did attend, it was on the agenda, and they made a presentation. So that was a normal planning commission meeting. There was no other walkthrough meeting that you're referring to other than the typical monthly meeting of the planning commission.
She made it sound like it was a single meeting last night, so I just wanted to clear that up. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Anyone else in Zoom? All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've all been waiting for the presentation of the 2025 budget. Ms. Swan,
I'm ready. Are you?
are you ready? I'm ready.
I'll ask Abby to put up our presentation. If she's
And is your mic on? Just make sure.
It is testing,
Okay.
testing.
Perfect. Thank you.
So first, commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak on this proposed budget for 2025. Slideshow is going to show a couple of various things. If you want to ask questions along the way or hold them until the end, I'm good either way. Our slide basically is starting out with a generalization of what the budget contains for 2025 in Cowan Township. The general fund, we're going to look at the LED project, our noted projects last year, fire tax and EMS services, and also sewer and trash. here we go with the 2025 revenue sources. They've been broken down into 6 revenue streams. The bulk of that making up 75% of our revenue are the taxes, EIT, LST tax, which is made up from our annual tax bill and some other odds and ends. The other 25 come from services, fees and licenses, grants, transfers, and reimbursements. Let's put this into a visual. You can see there 75% that I just spoke about is the EIT, which is the brown area, and then the real estate, the light green area. That makes up just about 75% of our revenue source for the general fund. The others, that's okay. Yeah, basically just the odds and ends as I spoke. Our expenses for the general fund are made up of 7 categories that are fitting as well. They also kind of correlate to the revenue that we saw in the previous slides. The top 4 departments that show services and assistance are the police department, public works, life safety, and then the governing body. The balance of the general fund is from capital, debt service, and community enhancement, which all round out our beautiful township in the heart of Chester County.
Good plug.
Let's see the
Thank you.
pie chart for expenses. And there again, about 75% again comes, for use of our police department, public works, life safety, and then tagging along at the end is the general government, our capital, again, community enhancement, and debt service. So there's kind of a correlation between the revenue high items and the expenses that they're used for. And this might even show a better look at where the revenue kind of matches up with the expenses. Real estate and police, the EIT, LST kind of goes along with public works and life safety. And then the balance of the general fund for licenses and fees, charges and services, and transfers and reimbursables, along with the grants in the revenue side, basically make up the general government, community enhancement, debt, and capital on the expense side. So it's 1 for 1. It's a nice correlation that you can see there. We're looking at some budgetary trends there. Fully staffed for the most part in 2025 with 56 full-time employees, based on our conversations throughout this year, and then also in 2024, adding 2 additional police and fire. That'll round out the staffing going into and completing 2025. Our healthcare miraculously is actually down this year, and that's basically due to the family plan structures that we have, and a lot of the new hires that we had are singles as opposed to the other plans that we have. So that was nice to see that decrease from 2024 going into 2025. Our capital and machinery, I can't thank the directors enough for getting each of their departments to really spend a lot of time listing all of their capital items and equipment, and coming up with a plan to replace them so that we're not 12 years out with something that should have only lasted 7. Taking care of them, getting regular maintenance, work done on each of them just to extend the life expectancy. Also the pension costs, uniform decreased, non-uniform increased. Last year it was the other way around. So playing a part there. Before we get into late fee, back that up one more. Big note at the top, no general fund or debt tax increases 2025. They will not go up. They will stay the same. We'll revisit that later on, and we can get into stormwater.
Street lights.
Excuse me. All right. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. I'm so excited.
So are we.
There you go.
Yay.
So the LED program was a huge, huge success last year. And again, I thank the Public Works Department and Director Stackhouse for all the work that went into getting this together. 40% savings in electricity, which was huge. We no longer invoice out for some of those properties that we had previously for several years. Full warranty through the providers. And these bulbs should have a life expectancy of 13 plus years. We're keeping an eye on that just to make sure. But it's nice to see the average electricity bills coming in $22,000 less than last year. And this saves $3,900 in, our staff billing out and doing the operational end of it in-house. So also nice to see that the late fees are gone, and hopefully we never have to see those again. There we go. Stormwater. I knew we'd get to it. So we had a couple of dynamics here. The MS4 2025 is going to be expensed out at about $48,000. $300,000 again will help to fund the stormwater improvement and maintenance program annually going forward. I'll explain a little bit more about that a little bit later. Our maintenance program is growing to mirror our road resurfacing program, which we've had a lot of success. It's the same dynamics there. Go through, make a list, rate each of the infrastructure patterns, and get them on a regular routine maintenance program so that we don't incur any kind of issues, big issues, hopefully, moving forward. With 2024, we went through some projects. The ones listed there are completed for a total of about $4.7 million, excuse me. The bridges, you can see, culverts, stream banks, a little bit of everything got handled, completely done. So cross off the list. And in seeing the infrastructure here led us to develop the maintenance program. And along with that, we have 3, 4, 5 extra projects that will are in various stages at this point. Beaver Creek Crossing, Humpton Lynn Williams culverts, 40 Bailey Road stormwater, Joe Carlson, the retaining wall, and then Downing Ridge stormwater. Those will hopefully get moving and come into fruition and completed 2025, 2026. You see the estimates there. I believe most of those estimates, if not all of them, were given to us by the engineering. Funding sources, again, the balance of the 2022 note, grant proceeds that we've received from previous projects, and also future grants that are available. I know we're jumping on them, and I think we've secured a couple of them. I think we're waiting on a couple more to see what we're getting from there. What's in the works for 2025? Beaver Creek Trail. The trail segments are underway. Segment 4, segment 5. Those amounts, again, in conjunction with our engineering staff, consultants, giving us estimates for those. Our park feasibility studies still on the list to do. 2025 road resurfacing program, an ongoing adventure always. And our capital equipment replacement program. The success we've had is huge as far as, again, the capitalization of everything. The grants and donations of that $485,000 that we're going to spend this year, $345,000 of that from grants and donations. You can't ask for more than that. It's a great job by Chief Elias getting those grants, and Mr. Stackhouse as well. On to fire. It's getting a little hot in here. Volunteerism, decreasing services, and increasing our growing population. Some traditional fundraisers have gone by the wayside. But the township is still responsible for providing public safety here. To meet those challenges, career firefighters are being hired, and we continue to support and explore those retention methods. In the midst of hiring full-time firefighters to fill the 2024 openings, the board approved, we're also looking at 2 more for 2025 to help round out that project. I believe some part-time staffing will also come into play as well. To meet these program items for 2025, as we have them mapped out, our millage rate, we're proposing an increase from 0.88 mil to 1.134 mils. The average increase for a home assessed at about 150,000 would be 38,000 for the year.
$38.
150,000. What did I say?
8,000.
$38 for 150,000. Woo. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Been a long week. Yes, emergency medical services. The last 20 years, it's been a timeless transition. Volunteer EMS is basically no longer exists in these roles, and we're stepping up to answer that call. 5 local municipalities came together to support Minquist in their time of crisis, and these necessary services need to be funded properly, and that group continues to evaluate, adapt, and support Minquist to assure that we can continue this service to the community. With an increase in their expenses, personnel, equipment, training, supplies, the current millage rate is 0.2 mil and is proposed to increase to 0.4 mil in 2025. The approximate increase for an assessed $150,000 property it will be an increase of about $30 this coming year.
There you go.
See that there? Yeah.
Right.
Solid waste. I guess we can just start off by saying no increase. Yay, I know.
Upset there.
Not too much has changed. The services will be the same. Our current hauler came in with a great price that gave us very favorable rates, and that directly relates to current business conditions. The unit count still 4,975. Don't anticipate too much of an increase there. The generated anticipated revenue almost 2 million. And that should cover everything. So again, no proposed rate for 2025 for solid waste. And on to sewer. As you can see, Dara and PA Water are both increasing along with the liability insurance. That being said, in order to meet those increased operational costs, the bi-monthly billing will increase, proposed $2 per invoice or $12 annually. That generated about $171,000. That should cover the 2025 expenses for the sewer department.
Nice picture.
I was hoping you'd notice. So a snapshot in short, the on the left there, the annual tax bill, you see the general portion of that 4.88 mils. Debt service stays at 0.44. Fire increasing to 1.134 mils, and EMS increasing to 0.4. And just to compare that, you can see on the left-hand side, total Callan Township tax bill would be 6.0620 mils. The school district, Coatesville School District, is currently at 42 0.864 mils for the 2024-2025 current. Chesco, I don't believe the last time I looked had disclosed their 2025 rate yet. The 2024 is at 4.551 mil. This budget will be displayed out here tomorrow morning. And then if the board so approves, that'll be advertised November 15th. And, you know, we welcome comments from the staff, the residents. I have to thank the residents throughout the year that do call, email, come in and, you know, just have questions about checks that are being written or what's the expense, you know, budgeted for this, that, or the other thing. You know, this budget is for you and it's services that help us to provide for you. So please do not hesitate to contact myself, our township manager as well. We're always available. I want to thank our staff, the directors, township manager again for putting up with me for the last month and a half. And the commissioners, I hope I answered all of your questions, but for sure, if there's anything I can answer, please don't hesitate. Thank you.
First Lisa, excellent job. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And to
Lot of work,
everyone who
uh,
worked hard on this.
Commissioners, any comments on this?
I have just one and I don't know how you do it. I don't know how, but just for the residents' understanding, when they get their tax bill, they're going to see the school tax and they're going to see their local tax part here. Ballpark, is the school tax about 80% or 75% of their total tax?
More like
Oh.
70.
If you look
Yeah.
at the 42 mil
Yeah.
versus ours.
I mean,
So that's where your money is
school taxes
going.
are 42. Yeah, I mean, 42 mils, that's
That's-
up there.
That's the bulk of that bill that you pay every year. 70% of it and up is for the schools. With 40 million of that going to charter schools. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll reach out to the residents here in the township building. We have a lot of folks. Tony, come on up to the podium. Name and address.
Tony Desario. The 8.1 million note is there any, where did all that money actually go to? That they borrowed?
Abby, could you go back to the
I know the bridge.
stormwater budget? Right there. That's
Slide
most
10.
of the money there. That's about 5 million of it there.
That's what's left of it.
That's what we've already
what's been
spent.
used.
That's what you already spent.
Yeah, then the next slide.
Slide.
Yeah, goes into more of that money that's being expended.
That's about 4.2 million for those 5 projects. So
So it's more money than we
that'll
actually
clean out.
borrowed.
What
Yeah.
is the actual balance that's left then?
What's the balance
it
that's
again.
left on the
His name.
3.8.
3.8?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, we have another hand raised. Name and address.
Good evening, Mark Fox, 256 Thornridge.
Welcome,
And I
Mark.
apologize if this is an old question, but in relation to all this, how much money did we ever get back from FEMA?
Nothing yet.
So that storm was a couple years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mark. Any other comments? See any other hands raised here in the township? How about in Zoom? As our finance director, Lisa Swan, had mentioned, this will be on display for the next 20 or so days. Our December meeting is when we actually adopt it. So please feel free, if you have any questions about it, reach out to the township here through the website, stop into the office here. They'd be more than happy to share it with you. Thank you.
Just one last thing, I just for anyone who, most of you know this, that Pennsylvania state law requires that each township present a balanced budget by the end of the year. And that Lisa and the finance team, budget committee have been able to do this a few years in a row now pretty well. I think it's pretty amazing, and I applaud them myself.
All right, just one last thing. You know, we try hard to make sure that the general fund has no tax increase every year. You know, when we got hit with Ida, we didn't really have much of a choice there. We had to rebuild our infrastructure. But just on the fire and EMS, as Lisa said, volunteerism is almost down to zero. When you look at the fire report, on an average call, there's 6 responders going out on a fire call anymore. That used to be up in the 10s to 20s, you know, people responding. So we have to supplement that with paid fire staff, unfortunately. And we try to do everything we can to keep taxes as low as possible. But unfortunately, we have to, the ambulance has to come when you call, and when there's a fire, we have to get the fire truck out. So know that we work extremely hard to keep the taxes as low as possible. But these are really non-negotiable items. When you call 911, you need police, you need fire, and you need EMS. So unfortunately, we have to meet those needs.
Thanks.
You, Commissioner Young. All right, moving right along. Township Manager, what do we have first on your agenda?
Hey, good evening, Commissioners. I have a couple of items for this evening's agenda. The first is presenting the meeting schedules for next year, 2025. No major changes to the schedule. Board of Commissioners will meet the second Thursday of each month and then the last Thursday of each month, with the exception of November and December, unless you'd like to meet on Thanksgiving.
We'll cram everything into the one meeting.
Rest of the boards and commissions do remain consistent with current schedules. And this is for review over the course of the next couple of weeks, and we can subject to consideration or adoption at the next board meeting.
Commissioners, any comments? Good. No other comments, Commissioners?
Great.
Mr. Vimazal, what do we have next? The Turf Equipment and Supply Company.
Yes. Next, we have, this is a piece of equipment that will be used for the golf course primarily, although there are a number of other projects that will benefit from the use of it. This is a sprayer to help control weeds and manage various areas of the township. Cost of that piece of equipment is $70,602. Recommendation from township staff would be to use the remaining ARPA funds. This is the pandemic relief funding. We have approximately 149,000 remaining in that fund. Prior to very recently, the guidance was that that money needed to be allocated by the end of the year. There was a change where the money needs to be spent by the end of the year or return. This is a piece of equipment that's been on the purchase list for township for some time, and this would be an approved and appropriate use of that allocation of funds.
We're down to the wire.
It's a late change.
Spending it, yes. Commissioners, any comments on this? I think it's needed and it's free money. So it's not really out of our township pocket.
Do we have any other projects to use the balance of funds?
We did look into a number of projects. The challenge with the timing of the notice is if to go out for engineering, planning, it would be fine if we were allocating those funds and setting the budget for 2025. In order to actually spend the funds to cut the check to get them to purchase something, it really was determined equipment was the best use of funding to ensure that we would be able to spend it down by the deadline. Not yet.
That's what I was asking, are we going?
Yep.
Yeah, where the balance of the money can be spent. Yeah, spend it.
Residents here in the township building, any comments, questions? Don't see any hands raised at the moment. Anyone? Oh, yes, come on up to the podium, please. Just a name and address.
Can you purchase any other equipment to help us when we have storm cleanup as far as wood chipping? And you used to have machinery at the township, which is of course a lot more expensive. But it would be nice when we have the floods or we have a storm, when we have large debris, that we don't have to accommodate the rules that are required to bundle things in a manner that we'd be able to just bring it somewhere and get rid of these large branches.
We still have a chipper, don't we?
We do have a chipper. There was a larger piece of shared equipment.
Oh, yeah.
It was multi-municipal, and unfortunately, that piece of equipment recently broke, not on our watch, another township. We can certainly look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Or the comments here in the township? Any in Zoom? And at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the CoStarz company turf equipment and supply authorizing the purchase of the Toro Multi-Pro 5800 sprayer in the amount of $70,602.84.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Spend that money. Next, we have the Hydro Compact Tractor.
Yes, thank you. This is a similar discussion item, action item. This is a tractor that would be used by the township and primarily the golf course. We currently have a tractor in use shared between Public Works and the golf course when they need to mow large areas. They have a piece of equipment that can be pulled behind, but they need to borrow that other piece of equipment. This would also be a recommendation to allocate remaining ARPA funds for the purchase of this new tractor that again could go towards use at the golf course, but also in the event of possible breakdown of the existing tractor. Total cost would be $33,700.
Commissioners, comments? Questions? None at this time. Here in the residence township building, any comments? None at this time. Any in Zoom? All right. That said, definitely needed. Entertain a motion to authorize the purchase of the Hydro Compact Tractor in the amount of $33,700.
So moved.
Moved. Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next, the little bit different.
Thank you,
Don,
Commissioners.
what do we have?
All right, a little backstory. Some time ago, the stewards of the Quaker Meeting House approached the township, looking to see if there was any interest in a partnership or some sort of arrangement with to preserve that property, the historic property, into the future. Of course, before considering any type of agreement of such, there needs to be a structural assessment to determine the condition of the property. We approached the engineer. They do have a structural assessment branch of their firm. And this is a PSA to engage with our engineer, Gilmore and Associates, to complete phase 1 of that structural assessment of the town meeting house. The cost of that service would be to not to exceed $4,500. This would be phase 1. This would be initial assessment. If there are any issues identified, of course, then phase 2 could be considered. But the first step in even considering such a situation to have a structural assessment done, or it's a good order.
Commissioners, any comments, questions?
Yeah, for those who don't know much about the Old Town Meeting House, I just wanted to throw a little bit out there. That meeting house is older than our nation. Founded in 1726, will be celebrating its 300th birthday the same year the United States turns only 250 years. It's owned by a small nonprofit and of Quakers, and every year they dwindle. The members, the number dwindles, and they're concerned for the future once the last of them is gone. So that property includes their meeting space, cemeteries, a cemetery that includes African American soldiers from the Civil War, and it's a very calm little space there. Without that meeting house, town as we know it would not exist.
Right.
That Quaker meeting house drew settlers here, including Isaac Spackman, who founded Spackman Davis Farm right next to it. Hopefully we can find a way to incorporate this historic gem. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and this could be a very exciting opportunity, and this assessment is a very important step, just the first step in a much longer process.
And just as a quick update, our town historic society actually has a section in that meeting house to kind of show off the history of Cowan Township. If anybody hasn't been there yet to see it, it is well worth a visit. The assessment we're asking for is to protect ourselves if we want to take this over, because it really, yes, they do not have the funds to maintain it, and they have to give this up. This isn't a purchase deal for the township. This is just taking over the responsibility of it. So the study is really just to see the structural integrity of the building, just to make sure we're not walking into a full mess ourselves. Hopefully it's a beautiful piece of property. And I am looking forward.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And just to tag on, it's not that they can't financially take care of it. It's that they're in their 80s and there's only like 3 of them, and getting together to try to figure out how they're going to fix this or that has become a little impossible. The being on the National Historic Register opens it up to a boatload of grant money should any repairs need to be made.
Yeah. Residents here in the township building, any comments, questions? Kathy, you're just smiling. You just look.
I can't even. There she is.
And none at this time? Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Anyone in Zoom? All right. Entertain a motion to authorize, where is it? Authorize the township manager to sign the Gilmore and Associates Service Agreement for the Cowan Meeting House Structural Assessment Phase 1, not to exceed figure of $4,500.
So moved.
So
Second.
excited. So excited. Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Young, a quick third by Commissioner Kennedy. And I know Lorraine over there she had her hand up.
I was
so
there too.
yeah. So all in favor, please say
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Yeah.
See what it looks like.
Thank you, commissioners.
That felt good, didn't it?
Yeah, like that. Wait to let the Quakers know.
All right.
We're listening in.
Mr. Vimazal, what do we have here?
With the commissioner's pleasure, I would recommend if we move the 1.5 down to ordinance resolutions. The motion before the consideration before the board this evening, the ordinance has been drafted.
Okay.
And it would be more appropriate to fall in that section. I apologize about that oversight, but that would be if appropriate, that would be
Understood.
Excellent.
Okay. Lincoln Highway holiday lights. No candy cane, Tony.
This is very exciting. I'm very pleased to announce that the lights, the decorative street lights have been updated to accommodate illuminate holiday lighting. And a test run was done earlier today to make sure we had all the bits and pieces needed to install these lights along Lincoln Highway. Plugged them in, they work. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting these up and installed, and they look good. They look really good.
All right, here we go.
I passed the one on the way in here. There's one that's operated. You can just feel that whole shift coming to Lincoln Highway in this township. And
Mm-hmm.
See Mrs. Steele back there. How long have we been working
Yep.
on this?
150 years. All
Many
time.
years.
The rest of the lights will be installed by the end of the week, hopefully. And then we'll be able to make sure they're on throughout the entire holiday season.
beautiful.
It's gonna be
Well, let it be
nice.
known, Cowan Township is open for Christmas.
Open for business.
Right. Well, I will ask residents if anyone has driven by the snowflake or any comments on this. Just all excited. Oh, please, please.
Larry Steele, 411 Walnut Sheep Road. This was something that was talked about for years and years. That we had business districts. We sat in the middle of two other townships, had
Oh.
Christmas decorations, and we were the
Rich.
So this is exciting for me. I can't wait to get lit up. And I congratulate. It certainly took a long time. So I hope we do move along as we progress with other projects here, not 25.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone from Zoom before I move on? Board of Commissioners openings and vacancies. What are we discussing?
Thank you. This is, we do have various opportunities on the boards and commissions throughout the township for anyone that has the expertise and availability to help serve the community. This list, of course, is published on the website. And really just wanted to bring attention that there's a variety of vacancies available for anyone that happens to be in the room or anywhere else that's looking to serve.
Good plug. Always looking for good people. It takes a lot of good people to just make this township work. A lot of excellent folks that get involved, all our different townships, all our different commissions. Feel free, reach out to us. Throw your name over to Don. Get involved.
And as one of the members of the historical commission said, I asked them if they would, their term was coming to an end, would they consider another year? And the response was, as long as we keep having fun like this. So anyone who's not involved, we have fun.
All right. And we do have one appointment, John Woodcock. We did interview him prior to the last meeting. Excellent candidate. He put his name in for a few different positions. I believe we were looking at planning commission.
Mhm. Annie?
Planning commission.
Yes.
Okay. Is John here?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I didn't think so, but we have so many folks here in the township building, which is great to see, but I didn't know if he was lost in the back corner. All right. Well, commissioners, any comments for the position?
I think he would be a good addition.
Yes,
Ready to go.
he was an excellent candidate. So
Yeah. There's a
They've got
lot of
John Corporell rolling off at the end of this
background.
year, so that would be perfect timing.
okay. And I believe we may have somebody ready for zoning becoming
Yes.
in front of us. Okay, perfect. We definitely need to fill that in as well. Zoning, we are down to how many? 3, 4 people?
Hmm.
4?
Four.
Okay,
Four,
and we're
correct.
losing one for,
One is expiring at the end of this year.
okay, and we haven't heard back whether or not he or she
Mhm.
wants to stay.
Mhm.
Okay. But that is a very important board, zoning hearing. Plugging it out there. Okay. Entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Woodcock to the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second,
I moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I apologize, the term left, I guess he is to fill in the last remaining year of this term. Okay, and then he would need to, okay,
Yes.
or switch to another board. 25,
25.
25.
25.
Got it. You. Land swap proposal. Don, I'll let you take this one.
I gotta use it.
Don.
Okay, we're,
As a bit of background, and this was discussed at the last meeting, but this is related to a project at 425 Bondsville Road, near affordable housing project apartment complex that was proposed a number of years ago. It's been going through the process for quite some time. Came back before the board for an extension of conditional use land development. Earlier this year, conditional use was extended. However, the board advised the applicant to look at any ordinances that have changed since it was last approved, most notably being stormwater management, stormwater ordinance. Following the extension of conditional use and for the land development stormwater ordinance was reviewed, the applicant, Mr. Brisbane, approached the township with a proposal for a land swap to relocate the project to parcel of land that the township has owned. In exchange, the township will be receiving that the 3.4 acres along Bondsville Road in exchange for a development at 3400 Kings Highway. This particular property is across the street from the Spackman Davis Farm. The cell phone tower is located on it currently. We felt it was appropriate to do this in the public setting. Any discussions of this sort need community input. And really happy that there's so many individuals here. Unless there's any questions from the board, I see Mr. Risman is standing. Wondering.
Yeah, let's get to the mics. The folks in Zoom.
Hello, Scott Risbin. Thank you very much for entertaining this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Dean. We spoke on Halloween regarding this project, and I kind of gave you the background of how we came to this potential conclusion. And the feedback I got was that you wanted to hear more from the residents, which is, obviously what you want your constituents to give you opinions on projects like this. So I came back to this meeting tonight, and I'm here to pretty much answer questions from anybody in the audience that has questions. See if this is something that we can.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
We do have a lot of new faces here. Not sure if it's for this reason or not, but I will ask anybody here in the township building had a comment on this project. Oh, well, Tony, come on up.
What property, you give him all that property down there? Yes. How much property was it?
On Bondsville Road, it's 3.4 acres.
That's-
No.
That's what messed me up. All right, and you're going to want to move up to Kings Highway. All right, and that property would be low to
The proposal as it was presented is that if the development would be relocated, the existing 3.48 acres would become township property.
responsible for like all the pipe work, whatever they did in there.
This is public presentation. Those types of discussions have not occurred.
But, well, Scott, yeah, come on up to the mic.
I just.
Sure. I think I can answer that question. And there's one thing I did forget to mention. As part of the proposal, I would offer to bring public water and sewer from the property I'm proposing to swap with the township all the way down to public water and sewer, which would be approximately Turkey Hill, I believe. So that would be an added benefit to the township. As to your point, sir, there is very minimal pipe work in. There is a basin on the property, and there was a large amount of fill dirt that was brought into the property because it was required. We did that during the planning period, and that's easily remedied. If the township would like to see it return to nature, we can easily fix that problem. Thank you.
Scott? Yes, we had somebody back here.
Do the show again. 235 Park Drive. So on a good note, I will vouch for Mr. Risbin's credibility. He has taken care of a tree that has concerned me in the past. And we've also talked, regardless if this build happens or he replenishes the land back to township, to help honor some other dying branches and things that I have concern over. And he said he would take care of them for me. So on the other end, I'd like to know if this property does go back to the township, will it become yours to keep, or will you guys someday look at this as land to sell?
That's a good point. This board, I believe we would just keep it as open space. That's why we're trying to make
which I would be glad to hear. I back my good notes. We had conversations on the proposed building, which being so close to my property within 500 feet would be the street lighting, anything to do with the traffic, headlights coming at me, a friendly fence. These were all things that were agreed on. So my concern would be is if this property happened, I want to see that it does not become another Callan Township commercial property that I have to come back for more meetings and go through these same lists again.
Excellent point. And I believe the reason why we are trying to make an alternate option is to keep that free, because it really, no other building should be happening along 340. I mean, it's bad enough with the traffic. So that is why we're in this discussion.
Okay. And
whether or not it'll pan out, that's another thing, but
I'm familiar with green points and green land, so I'm sure that would also benefit the township in that aspect.
And we actually
And
own
me.
the land behind that section as well, all the way over to with Geo Carlson, which is pretty much wetland. So we were just hoping to keep that whole area open.
Okay.
Once again, that's this board. You know, future 10, 12 years, 20 years from now, I can't vouch. Oh, we could. Okay, even better. Here's our answer.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good concern. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. The gentleman stood up first. So. Oh. Harley. Just name and address, please.
Peter Callahan.
Peter, hey.
Peter, my wife and I, Kathy, live at 931 Bondsville Road. So that's right through where Mr. Risbin had talked about the public water and public sewer going through. I think this is called a 1031 exchange. When I looked that up, when I first heard about this, trying to figure out what it is, first thing that I read was it was a swap of like kind properties. So I heard that the 425 Bondsville Road is 3.4 acres, but how much property is at 3400 Kingside?
Oh, much more. Yeah. Don, do you have an exact?
The acres up there?
30 acres.
No. 1031 is for rental properties.
So this isn't the tax exempt 1031.
No.
This is a proposal for, we'll swap you 3.4 acres for.
This is,
Kristen, you just took the words out of my mouth. So we're at 30 acres, 3.4, but we don't know appraised values yet.
That was a detail.
Right. So as of now, we don't know appraised value of either of the properties.
this really is in
Preliminary.
the interest of transparency. There's quite a bit, if this would move forward, there's a lot of details that would need to, of course, be discussed. But I know this board has a strong interest in transparency and wanted to bring this to the public just to get feedback before even investing any time from staff, investing time in terms of developing those details.
And we as stakeholders, I can't speak for everybody, but my wife and I can. We very much appreciate being heard and that opportunity. Bondsville Road and Edges Mill Road can't take any more traffic. I've heard before, well, we're already at LOSF, level of service, so it doesn't matter if we go down anymore, which I guess is the law, but it sounds silly to me. So traffic is a major concern, speaking almost selfishly, but also perhaps on behalf of those who are interested in this room and in this community in historic preservation. The house that we live in, for those that don't know, is 300 plus years old. I heard Mr. Evans mention the Old Callan Historical Society and Friends Meeting House is 1726. The house that we live in, the original structure was built in 1721. It sits about 5 feet away from Bondsville Road there. There's a picture of it in the Library of Congress because of the water drain. It's there because there's only two as of 80 years ago in the country that still exist.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of tearing up Bondsville Road for public sewer and public water for the interest of a handful of, my words, not anybody else's, special interests along that way would be unacceptable to me. It's just not something that would work in the interest of historic preservation. It almost feels like my initial reaction when I heard this was, our house isn't going to take this if Bondsville Road gets torn up. The foundation won't take it. I don't want to sound too dramatic when I say this, but it felt like a constructive taking, like an eminent domain. I'm in a battle already unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my initial reactions. I doubt that they're going to change. I own some other property further south. I shouldn't be saying that at a public meeting, but maybe there'll be an economic benefit to that, but that's not it. There's more to it than just the money part, at least for Kathy. So that's pretty much what I have.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's what we need. We need some feedback, good, bad, indifferent. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we did have the lady up here first, Kathy. Just name and address.
Christina Snyder, 1504 Fitzwilliam. I live just down Town Meeting House from this area.
Okay.
But in going to school and going to work every day over the last 9 years, Kings Highway, my concerns. There's already 3 staggered entrance points onto Kings Highway, all with limited site capabilities. I have 2 teenage sons, and I worry about them all the time in the entrance points because people are driving. There are posted speeds. They're driving 55, 65 miles per hour through there, even at limited visibility when it's fog. And adding yet another access point here, just up from North Bailey, which the sight line there's been some near collisions, people pulling up into the roadway. So that's my concern as a resident. And I do feel for Mr. Callahan, and I have to get down to Bondsville to get on the highway, to go to work, go to school, just like everybody else. Mornings, that's a challenge now. And it's backed up a lot. And adding 100 plus homes is not something I want to see.
All right, thank you.
So thank you.
Had a gentleman stand up in the back there, or? And sure. Oh, what?
Come up.
Donna DiPrinzio, 211 Garden View Drive. I wanted to just give my feedback first. Thank you for the transparency of this possible project, but I definitely would like to give my feedback that I would like to keep it as open space, especially across from beautiful Spackman Davis Farm. I think it's really important that it stays open and it could just be part of enjoyment rather than thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Yes, on up. Just name and
Yes, good
address.
evening. My name is Daniel Fallon. I'm an attorney with the law office at 1100 Bondsville Road. My brother and my brother Robert Fallon Sr. owned a building. He has the secondary office of City Construction Company there, where his son, the superintendent, Dennis Fallon, who's here tonight, does bids. I know Pete Callahan well, and admire and respect him, and don't in any way want to minimize his concerns. But I have to add that these are these concerns he has about the structural integrity of his foundation, I think would be addressed fully in the actual design plan. And if there were any chance of that, it should be a reason that to deny the plans. But I'd add that we're on the southern side of Bondsville Road. That's where the trench would be, and that's on the side that we're on. Our property is the old Eagle paper mill, dating back to the same era where Pete's house was built, even earlier. It ran continuously during the 19th century as the producer of the best waterproof buckskin paper in the country, exported to all the other states, and even from what I understand, foreign. I read about it in a British journal, the Eagle paper mill. And so I am fully concerned about preserving the historic integrity of that property. But I think that's something that an experienced developer like Scott Risman would fully see to, and certainly his insurance would be responsible for anything, even if something did happen. And so, as far as the concerns, whose benefits by this, the protection of the waters of the Commonwealth have always been the responsibility of government. And there's certainly a public policy in favor of protecting the waters of the Commonwealth. And so there is a institutional prejudice in favor of converting on-site septic systems to public sewers where it's feasible. And so it's not a selfish concern at all. It's actually a public concern. But to the extent it's selfish, all the landowners, their property values will be benefited by the installation of public sewer and water. Ask any realtor. I'm talking about appreciable increase in value. And so now, of course, every concern that was articulated by Peter and more have to be addressed, but I think that should be entertained and addressed in the process, in the application process. The devil's in the details. So for our part, we fully support at this juncture, with the caveat that if there is something in it that deserves to kill the project, the project should be killed, but not in embryo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good comments. It's Kathy. You had your hand up.
Callahan is up here to embarrass my husband, I'm sure. Earlier, that lives over, where the apartments, where you wanted to put the apartments. And I was at that meeting and broke because of the height of any building. Traffic is going to be crazy traffic, you know. But my heart broke. I thought, oh God, I can't imagine. Houses are, I know a lot of one level. And I thought, oh gosh, I would building. So, and I don't wish that now either. I don't want to do anything to anybody that I wouldn't want done to myself. I wish Mr. Risbin maybe would do maybe 2 levels, something, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But anyway, the Spackman Farm was purchased to keep open. It's beautiful, Alaria, for making that possible. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm on the historical commission. I know the historical commission works hard to make it even better. I just can't imagine. I went over the hill today and took a picture and I thought, well, I can't even imagine because it truly is open space. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And I just can't even imagine any entertaining anything. I can't. Like I said, I'm not being disrespectful. I know you have property and this nice gentleman and those people to have a 4-story building, but there's got to be some kind of a compromise somewhere that everybody's happy. And yeah, we don't want to have to tie into, and I'm sure everybody here doesn't want to tie in, but that's not even it. It's open space. That's what you wanted. I mean, I have it here when the gentleman, Tom Hinkle, was so proud of his accomplishment. When they did it, he said, raise his hands up. He said, we did it. You know, they got the property, they did it. And then the historical commission, it just said, anyone has traveled this road is familiar with the pastoral beauty of the rolling hills and marvelous historic structures to look out across 91 acres of tranquility, like traveling back in time to a world untouched by modern growth and expansion. And the Callan Historic Commission is determined to keep it that way. I just, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I know you guys make the decision. I don't want to hurt anybody in here by my words, but I hope figure something different than ruining Spackman Farm. Not, I don't mean ruin it. You know what I mean?
You know what she meant. Yes.
It's clear. And if you can put something that these guys could be happy with 2 levels or whatever, that doesn't jump over their homes, that you wouldn't want, nobody in here would want, hopefully that'll work. Like I said, I'm here to embarrass myself, so I'm sorry.
Kathy, excellent points. Thank you so much. All right. Anyone else here? Yes.
Yes, my name's Vince Tolucci. I live on 3513 Kings Highway. I live right next to the farm.
Hey, Vince.
So, how you doing? Been there since 1983. And I agree with pretty much everybody else's concern here, you know, especially coming out there. Probably everybody in this familiar with the site distance pulling out of there, and that is a dangerous spot. Also, that was purchased for open space for sure, but wasn't that a grant from the county too?
I believe where Spackman Farm is.
Yeah. So that was actually a township building design the township building was supposed to go there.
Right. Yeah, I remember. But anyhow, nothing against Scott, of course, but I mean, it is open space and it's the last part of the last remaining working farm in the township. You know, that serves as a reminder of where it came from. as much as the Quaker building there too, Friends Meeting House. So it's a tough thing to see more of that kind of thing go, you know. So my concern is I don't see it go. But you know, as far as the land trade, that's lopsided there too. But you know, that remains.
We were
be
trying to sell
seen.
them on some swampland.
Yeah. Yeah. But you said you were going to take care of running the water and sewer line. Does that include the hookup to the houses there too?
I think
Okay.
that's about 10, 20,000
Oh,
a piece.
There you go. Good points. Thank you. And anyone else here in the township building?
I have an email.
I know we had another hand raised.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That's fine.
Katrina Spalding, and this is the first time in the township building. We are
Welcome.
first time homeowners. We've been in, we live on 2715 East Kings Highway,
Yeah.
right by the town meeting house, and enjoy driving past that little bit of open land every single. I grew up in Chester Springs, and throughout 40 this year, so throughout the past 40 years, I've been very saddened to see this farm slip away, and that farm slip away. My dad grew up on a dairy farm, and it's just, it makes me want to cry. And right now I live over, I work in Exton by the new Amazon building that's just going up now. It's just heartbreaking to see the way that everything is falling apart here in Chester County, because everybody wants to move to Chester County because of the idyllic picturesque beauty.
Yeah.
And yet we were selling it off and selling it off. There's going to be none left soon. It took me 45 minutes to get from Downingtown to Exton the other day. 45 minutes. The traffic is insane. And to just even think of that beautiful picturesque scene now being muddied up with apartment buildings. Who needs more apartments? We don't. Let's keep Chester County. Vote for open space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katrina.
Thank you.
Cheering crowd there. Yes.
David McClaskey, 2802 East Kings Highway. My house, our house is about three houses up from Bailey Road.
Mhm.
Yeah, so right up the
Okay.
street from this property.
Mhm.
I would mirror mostly what I heard tonight. Traffic is already beyond belief. Where this ingress or egress would be, this property would be at a non-desirable spot, and the added traffic, not tolerable. I would be opposed to it. Also, keep in mind when it's inclement weather, that section of the road is very hazardous. Water running down there. When it snows, it flows across there. I think the state maintains that section down there, but it continuously washes out. And if this is all developed, that's less area to absorb the rain and snow. So it's just going to get worse. So, I would be opposed to it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Ross Ferdman, 1309 Bondsville. Just want to say I support this idea. I love the idea of having public water and sewer. It's like a game changer, increase our property value. I'd much rather see a development like that than an apartment.
Just to be clear, it's townhomes, right? It's not an
Townhomes.
apartment complex. Yeah.
That than the apartment.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anyone else? That's what this meeting is for. Back and forth.
I have an email. One who could not. And
Okay, you have some information. Please
this
share.
is- Yeah, I have an email from Albert DiMatteo, who is the treasurer of the Francis Spackman Davis Farm nonprofit, and he lives at 3000 Fisherville Road. I won't be attending the meeting, but please see the following. I would like to voice my following concerns regarding development along Kings Highway in the area across from Spackman Farm. My first concern is the increase in traffic. As a resident of this area for more than 37 years, I can tell you that you are already taking your life in your hands pulling onto Kings Highway from either north or the south of North Bailey Road. The crest of the hill heading eastbound is already extremely dangerous, causing several major accidents and even fatalities over the years. Developing this area would exacerbate an already hazardous situation. My second concern is for the area wildlife. It's not uncommon to see 25 to 35 deer at one time in the area of the proposed development. The township is becoming so built out that there is simply no place for wildlife to survive. Developing this area will shrink the open space even more for wildlife and place a burden on existing residents who more and more every day have to deal with damages caused by the increase in wildlife on their properties. I know sometimes progress can't be stopped, but before considering any concessions by the township for future development in this area, please consider the above. Sincerely, Al D'Amadio.
Thank you. Yes, we have another hand raised. Please, up to the mic, because we do have people in. Come on up to the podium. And we'll reach out to Zoom afterwards.
Yeah.
Do we have any hands raised?
One right now.
One.
Daniel Fallon again. It's more in the form of a question than a statement. A lot of the comments are cast in the form of that it's going to be, if this swap doesn't go through, there'll be no development. It's my understanding that the development that has already gotten conditional approval, if this swap doesn't go through, Scott Risman has every intent to go forward with it. So the question is, because I don't really know about it, can that, this is really an either or proposition, isn't it? There's going to be development any way you look at it. And if, from my understanding, there was a lot of opposition to the development that has conditional approval. So it comes down to a question of which do the people who oppose development find more obnoxious? And maybe Scott could speak to this, or Kristen, what is the chance of that development not going forward if this swap doesn't go through?
I have a question. This might not be appropriate. Are you representing Mr. Risman?
No, I'm not his lawyer.
No.
Okay, all right.
I
It's
sold
just
some property to him.
Yeah,
15
no, I know that, but it's kind of starting to feel a little like.
Oh.
I'm simply asking, isn't this really what we're talking about? An either or proposition, one development or the
That was the idea the idea of trying to get the project out of
So it's
Bondsville
not the
Road.
ones who are saying we don't want development. That's not really the case. There's going to be development. It's just a question of which, right? All right. Thank you.
Yeah. No other comments here in the township? Zoom? We did have one hand raised. Who is it? Is she online? Yeah, Cheryl, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm kind of a bit mystified, I suppose. I don't really actually understand why we're even talking about this. Clearly, if this property were owned by an individual, like for instance, the Lloyd firm, individuals have rights, and we as government can't prevent a person from selling a property, even if we hate the traffic and we hate, the way it looks and all the terrible things that everyone has mentioned, which we all who live here now are battling with. But the reality of this is a little different. This is not a property that's on the market for sale, to my knowledge. Isn't that correct?
Yes, the township property? No. It's not for sale.
There's been nobody that I'm aware of in the township suggests that we even should sell this property. Now, that being said, trading 30 acres of what is clearly very valuable land for 3.4 acres, I can tell you right now, the appraisals, they're not, certainly not going to come in as equals. Not in a million years. And the idea that we would trade this property for the extension of water and sewer, and that is somehow a requirement of government also makes no sense to me, because I've lived in a house, in fact, did live in a house for, I don't know, 30 years before developers brought water and sewer through. The sewer and water that this gentleman wishes to bring up benefits nobody in this township except himself. The people who have on-site water and sewer, presumably it is working. And if it isn't working, they have found ways to make it work. I simply do not understand why we're actually even talking about this. If we were going to talk about it, the only way that I would want to see it is if A, does the township wish to sell this property? I don't. And I think most of the residents in this township would say absolutely not. We have almost zero control over what little, and it is very little land, is left. And this is one of the few parcels over which we actually have control. Now, what I would like to see done, yeah, I'd like to see this go into open space formally so that it can never be developed. That's a different subject and for a different potential. I particularly, and I mean particularly, dislike the last person who spoke, who used the threat that if we don't give this man this land, he will develop the land he owns. He owns land. There's nothing I can do about that. He can develop it. If he wants to, he will develop it. I can't control what he does, but I'm not prepared to give him 30 acres of government land that clearly actually belongs to every one of the people who lives here, so that he doesn't develop his land. No. No.
Excellent point, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Dan Hagan, 217 Park Drive. I'll admit, I don't really know what my feelings are to the new area that this is being built. I don't live up in that area. I know there was a lot of contention for the other space that he was building. I do know, though, there is another project that is going just up the street from me. I know the other part of that project's on 30, but there is the other project that's going to be right around Park Drive. So as was mentioned earlier, and people talk about traffic, if that other project goes through and this project ends up back at that area on Bondsville, that's a lot of traffic. That's like a lot of traffic there. So I know there's the concerns of that. Of course, I won't go into my normal spiel of the stormwater, but that I do have those. That is the thing. Yes, I would feel bad if it goes up there for the people who wouldn't want it up there, but having the two projects going on here, I think would certainly make the traffic at 340 exponentially worse.
Mm-hmm. Good point, Dan. Dan lives off of, is it Park
Drive? Yes. So
Park Drive.
Yeah.
Just on the other side of the apartments.
Yeah, this is not an easy situation. So that's why the feedback is very helpful.
Sure.
Yes, Dan, go ahead.
No, that was it. Just thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much. Did we have another hand raised? I thought I saw. Oh, okay. Any other discussion? I would like to thank everyone for coming and throwing in the comments. I know it's back and forth. We just wanted to get a feel for what's right, what's wrong, what's indifferent. I can't tell you this entire board, we're just on the fence on what to do with this. Scott knows that. So we were just trying to come up with a different option, different plan to free up the space on 340. This was not our choice. This was, this piece of land was not on our radar originally. And I wasn't joking about the wetlands earlier. But, so we have a lot to chew on. So I will say that, but, any other comments? Feel free to stop it in the township building and bug our township manager. I know we're going to be discussing this for a while. Scott does have some deadlines, some timelines as far as permits and all for the property that he presently owns that he needs to continue with. So we're not in a bind. Right. That's about all I had to say about that. Commissioners, any comments? Scott, thank you so much. Residents, thank you. I appreciate all the feedback. All right, let's continue. Next on the agenda was Beckman Davis Farm holiday decorations.
Thank you very much, commissioners. Last year, if you may recall, at the farmhouse, there was some holiday decorations installed. We have a holiday Christmas tree, some lighting, and there was a request made to do so again, and wanted to bring it to the board's attention for discussion and move as far as any plan.
I think the historical commission had done this last year. Do we have an idea of what you are entertaining? Tom Parr stated in the back corner of the room that they're going to put a tree up.
Yeah,
Battery operated candles in the windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Old Town Historical Society and the Historical Commission last year.
Yes, we have a comment.
The little schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Jay Edge. Oh, he was Quaker, and very involved in the township. One thing, and it does bug me every year, come in and tell them. Quakers never on that, all the years that Jay Edge purchased the greens for the door, there was never one because it's
No ribbon or bow because
no
it's Quaker.
colors. Always purchased the green. Technically, it would have. I think God bless Tommy. He was the one who wanted to put. It was also. But as far as that, probably should.
Yeah, good point. Keep it historical.
Thank you.
Yes, come on up, Kathy.
The star of Decorating with Kathy Callahan.
No, I'm so embarrassed because
Good.
Swan was sweet enough to ask me to put the house, decorate my house for Christmas. I must have 100 red bows. And I actually went, what wreaths to put on every window with red bows. So if people don't want me to do that,
Nah.
since Jay has lived in this, I won't. Oh my God. Anyway, I just want to say, I literally have 100 and up.
Thanks.
Ooh.
Say Rick Spackman is a Quaker still, and he was fine with. He thought it looked good. So, but I definitely appreciate what you're saying, Mrs. Steele.
Okay. Any other comments from commissioners? I had one concern of last year with the sleigh being out in the weather for that period of time. I didn't know if it took damage, because this is the sleigh that we use for Santa Claus. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it looked like at the end. Yes, Abby, did you want to chime in?
Don't mind. The reason the sleigh was up at the farm last year was because Parks and Rec opted to make a new area for Santa, which is better lit and more accessible. So I think as of now, the plan going forward is that we will not need it here at the township building.
Okay.
Unless someone has a different opinion, that's what I took away from Parks and Rec. So.
Okay. As far as, can you just make sure the sleigh doesn't, sitting out in the weather, that was my concern. Just because it is wood painted.
He painted.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. I love the idea, the fact that you can just drive down 340 and just see an old house from historical times.
Come alive.
Decorated, yeah. Decorated for the
alive.
holidays. So, will the tree be donated, similar to last year?
Last year, they gave it, we used our budget, remaining budget funds.
Oh, was
for
it the Boy Scouts that?
Jeffress went and cut it for us.
Okay.
And they gave us a ridiculous price and brought it over and put it in the hole for us. So
Just remember somebody
Yeah.
donating something.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully, I know you guys are kind of out of your budget, but we can make sure that happens.
Yeah.
We have to get him a mic.
Yeah, Tom Parr said, we're hoping that the same gopher pole is there this year that we used to put the tree in last year.
Probably bigger.
And Tony, we have a candy cane for you.
Buy the candy cane.
There's a lot of inside jokes here.
Yeah.
Folks that are new, but got a good group of people here. Tony Desario is on our sewer board, CTMA board, with myself. Tom Parr is part of Planning Commission as well as Historical. And Chris Parr, his wife, is on zoning. We have of course, Dawn, I'm leaving everybody out here, but you have everybody from Historical back in the corner here.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, Adam, yes, with planning. So yeah, it's good to see everybody so involved.
Yeah.
All right. Zoom World. Any comments on Historical? It'll be good to see the farm all lit up historically.
So that's a go.
Yes. I didn't think we needed to vote on that, right? It's just more of a discussion and say.
And the only point I would, of course, currently the roof has been replaced. And that should be wrapped up before the holidays, but that would be just beware, watch out for any construction materials.
Yeah.
Okay, next on your agenda here, 1.11.
Thank you, Commissioners. This Chester County Planning Commission had reached out. PennDOT is proposing a resurfacing of various roadways within the township. One of which is Emeryville Road. And the county, of course, as we've discussed in the past, they're building the Chester Valley Trail coming out of Cowan Township. It's expected to end, still working on the plans, of course, for that, but expected to end within the township. What they're proposing, what they're requesting from the township is that we would send a letter to PennDOT before the end of the month. There's a program where from a complete streets perspective, they would use certain aspects of a shared road approach for areas that there's not an official and formal trail, but they can dedicate safety procedures and improvements along residential streets. This, in some cases, is a permanent feature. In other cases, it's an attempt to mitigate trail connections until a more permanent trail system can be developed and constructed. In this situation, they are seeking interest. The township would like to have PennDOT review and design possible complete streets, share the road standards for Hazelwood Avenue between Marston and Thorndale Road and Emeryville Road. This would involve signage. It would involve striping on the roadways, the cyclists, silhouette on the roadways. The PennDOT would be in charge of designing and installation of any improvements from a safety standpoint. The township, upon completion of the project, if PennDOT accepts and feels that this would be appropriate for that location, but upon completion of the project, the township would be responsible for upkeep. So if a sign is hit, if striping comes undone or needs to be replaced, that would be a township responsibility. This is really a request for PennDOT to look to see if it's appropriate at that location. Doesn't necessarily commit the township to the program. However, the county is looking to try to make these trail connections wherever they are able to. And this is one of the areas they're looking at currently.
Is the road wide enough for this?
It's a residential road.
Mm-hmm.
It, when they go through the project, they'll make it wider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Excellent.
Commissioners, any comments on this?
Excellent.
Excellent. This is a good comment. Here in the township building, any residents, comments? None at this time. Oh, I do have a hand raised. Come on up to the podium. Just state your name and address, please.
Essex Street. And back to the roadways, I was wondering if there's a money in the budget for additional green arrows and things at intersections that are very busy. I do find it's very hard to get the left-hand turn at various intersections crossing over. And that was just my general comments. Roadways. Just to share with you, probably going about 4 years now, I've emailed PennDOT the PA fixed road.
Oh, yeah.
And I've said, hey, and I really haven't made any headway on that, but I'd be happy to schedule a time with like a list of intersections. I don't have that for now, but I have some in mind. That'd be fun in the township. So who would I schedule a meeting with at some point? You or
Feel free. That would be excellent.
Thanks, Tanya.
The manager, he'll take care of everything.
Yes.
Let's try. Yeah.
Thank you. No other hands raised here in the township building? How about in Zoom? None? Entertain a motion to approve the corporate bicycle facilities into the streets resurfacing project in concert with PennDOT Connects initiative on the SR 3064. This is Embryville, between Embryville Road, correct?
Right.
Correct.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. There's a lot. It's Hazelwood, right? Hazelwood and in between Embryville and Marshallton, Thorndale.
Hazelwood.
Yeah, I'm reading this and I'm like, it's not all there. But I know I read it. Okay. Next on the agenda, you want to go to the 1.5 that we skipped?
That sounds like a great plan.
The wiener.
I forgot it.
Yes, this is an ordinance policy that we discussed throughout the course of the year. Chester County had enacted a policy to provide a tax credit for those that dedicate, serve the community as a volunteer, firefighter, EMS provider. Various municipalities throughout the county have drafted similar ordinances and policies in order to encourage and incentivize those in the community to serve in that capacity. This ordinance that was drafted by our solicitor in cooperation with Mr. Stackhouse would provide that. And in order to reduce some of the administrative functions associated with ensuring that the provisions are met, we would be provided any documentation that they were received the county support, the tax credit, and then would process internally accordingly.
Commissioners, any comments on this?
This project is already working in the county, so it's like,
There's a little extra.
experimenting with anything. Actually been very effective in getting volunteers interested.
It's more about retaining the volunteers we currently have.
Yeah.
To try to it does encourage some people to join, but, you know, like I said, we have an average of 6 people that go out on a call. So if we can retain them, you know, to supplement our firefighters, but we start losing them even more, we'll need to pick up the pace than fire.
Hiring more people.
Yeah.
And it's a little thank you.
Yeah, it is a thank you.
Time saving lives.
And I think Patrick left, didn't he?
He got a call, I think.
I guess, Ray, you can speak to the time that a volunteer firefighter, what type of hours of service or hours of classes and service and things that need to happen just to become a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds. Just to get qualified to actually be an active firefighter, it's on an average of 300 plus hours to be qualified to be an interior firefighter.
And that's just to be qualified. Then to remain qualified, you
need continuing education, you know, on a regular basis. So, and as you pointed out, Commissioner, I mean, this really is a retention tool. It doesn't do a whole lot to, you know, gain volunteers, but it does, you know, any little bit helps, you know, retain those volunteers. And it is, Commissioner Kennedy mentioned, it's working on a county level, and a lot of municipalities, as Kristen can attest to, a lot of municipalities then jumped on board as well. So those volunteers get the credit from the county taxes, and a lot of municipalities are also jumping on board to try to, you know, incentivize or keep those people, you know, volunteering as long as possible.
Perfect.
If the school district would do it, that'd be a recruitment tool.
No other questions from commissioners? How about here in the township building? Any comments, questions? Any volunteers here? Wannabes? All right.
Now we have.
No hands raised at this moment. Anyone in Zoom? Excellent idea. And this is just to advertise. So entertain a motion to authorize Ms. Camp to advertise the volunteer firefighter tax credit ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And passes 4-0. We are missing one commissioner. All right. Look forward to that.
I counted wrong.
All right, now we are at 2.1.
Thank you.
Good. Is it Ms. Camp or you?
I can run. Yeah. Yeah.
Careful, he has a cane he can throw.
We have 2 ordinances related to the budget that was presented earlier this evening. The first is the advertisement adoption of setting township taxes. This would be set on the tax rate that was presented by our finance director earlier this evening during the budget presentation.
So excited. All right, commissioners, any comments? None at this time. Residents, township building, any comments, questions about the budget presentation? I love it. And how about Zoom? Perfect. So this is just to advertise. So I will entertain a motion to authorize the advertisement of ordinance 2024-06.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 2.2.
Ordinance, the 2.2 ordinance 2024-7. This would be advertising the adopting the 2025 budget of township funds. The advertising was set at the next meeting on December 12th.
All right. Commissioners, questions? None at this time? Anyone in the township building? None at this time? Anyone in Zoom? With no comments, entertain a motion. Where am I here? Authorize the advertisement of ordinance 2024-07 for the expense as delineated in the year 2025 budget.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. 2.3. Move right along.
The Commissioners, the last two resolutions listed are related to grant applications that are currently being finalized. The 2.3 resolution 2024-25. This is to apply for a statewide local share assessment grant for the purchase of 2 police vehicles. And if like to say, I know you've done some research on those vehicles. Yeah, think that.
So if we're successful with this grant opportunity, we'll have acquired over $400,000 in grant funding. All of that has gone toward equipment, and that doesn't include the $100,000 donation that we're anticipating from the woman whose son worked here long time ago. Actually, the last couple years, all of the police vehicles that we replaced and we have a replacement plan have been purchased through grant funding. Primarily through the local share assessment grant. These vehicles would be electric vehicles, which we would be one of a very small number of police departments in the county to begin to add to our fleet. So I've talked to the manager about it. I've talked to Abby about it. The township has a sustainability plan, and I think these will fit very nicely into that. So hopefully we're successful again.
Hopefully. We presently don't have a charging station, do we?
Right, but that's what.
You knew I was going to ask that.
used for.
That is on the to-do.
That's on.
Right, that's what the
We
money.
actually have an electrician coming out. Unfortunately, got COVID. So we hope to actually include that amount as part of the LSA grant. And Abby had an editorial she wanted to mention about these vehicles.
There are a few other municipalities that have started adopting them, and they've been very successful. But the chief brought this to my attention because these cars are extremely cool.
That answers that.
They go with the chief.
Extremely cool. No other questions? Can I ask questions here? I don't know.
No, you didn't ask.
Comments from residents? I mean, how can you comment? Extremely cool. That answers that.
Should be neat.
Can't beat it. All right. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Yeah, there you go.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. That was in the amount of $142,763.74 of grant money. Free money. All right, next 2.4.
Thank you, Commissioners. 2.4 Resolution 2024-26. This is kind of a big swing. As you know, we do replace apparatus at the Thorndale Fire Company periodically and when necessary. Other municipalities throughout the region had been approved through the local share account grant program for significant funding for that purpose. And we are developing a grant application to essentially fund half of the cost of the next apparatus required. So this grant would be submitted in the amount of $638,546 for the local share account, which would cover approximately half of the cost of the next apparatus necessary.
That has already been ordered.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It's a rescue truck.
Can I ask, have we heard anything about the new fire truck
been approved last year?
Yeah, it's not even in production yet.
Even in production?
It's not on the line, but it should get on the line soon. We don't anticipate, the earliest we would anticipate it would be the end of 2026.
Wow.
Why we, for the grant, pay for it when it shows up.
Keep paying for it too.
All right, residents here in the township building, any comments? Looking forward to a new fire truck. Santa is as well. Anyone in Zoom? All right, entertain a motion to approve resolution 2024-26.
So, second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Bye.
Moving right along. Kristen, have a great evening and a good Thanksgiving too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Board minutes to approve for October 31st. Minutes. I saw some quick changes at the end there. Denise, thank you so much. Everything look good? Yep. So I entertain a motion to approve. Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved, 5-0. Right along. Financial Department, do you want to redo your whole presentation or just give us the highlights?
I think you guys have heard enough of me today.
Never.
Nothing extra to add other than what you have in your packets.
Commissioners, any comments on financials?
No major changes from
Excellent work.
the last.
Very good. All right, we do have a check run, 52,986 to 53,061. Any comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve the check run.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Check run has been approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Next, board liaison. This is the fun and exciting part. Have a great holiday.
Here.
Thank you. All right, Park and Rec. Let's start with that. That's always exciting.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. For Park and Rec, so again, we want to just give thanks to all our sponsors for the Halloween party. It was a great success. So many little wonderful costumes and the categories and the designs. It's kind of hard to judge because all the kids deserve a prize, and everybody that helped and supported the Halloween party and our police department and all the volunteers, it really made it a success. And the dance troupe, the food vendors and all the trick-or-treaters. I mean, there were lots of kids. So thank you again to everyone that participated and supported the party. Children had a great time. Young and old had a great time. Moving ahead, want to thank our cleanup crew. Hats off to those guys there. I think they had their last cleanup on November 2nd. And I mean, they're going in the streams and the highways and the byways and the thorns and thickles, places we don't go and we don't often see. They're putting their feet on the ground and they're going in areas and to keep the township and the streams, free of pollutants, cans, tires. I don't know. They pulled everything out but a body. I'm like, where are they finding all these things? But that's what they do. So hats off to those guys because they're always looking.
Body.
Oh no. Okay, there we go. So again, I like the idea that we just don't wait till our annual, spring cleanup day. This team, they go out and they're always looking for ways to keep the township looking its best. So thank you. We're getting ready for our big Christmas tree lighting ceremony. That's going to be on December 8th, 6:00. 5. Well, it gets dark early, so we're going to start early. We're going to be out at 5:00. So we're looking for everybody to come, all our families. We're going to have maestro singers, maybe s'mores, some surprises, Santa, singing, dancing. So it'll be a great time for everybody to get together to celebrate this long year of all the things that we've done together collectively, you know, to keep the township moving in the right direction. So we're going to celebrate at the Christmas tree lighting so that we can all come together as one before we all go home and enjoy our families, come out and celebrate together. On Saturday, December 14th, has it sold out? The trip to New York City sold out. And it's good because it's been a long time since COVID that we've been able to take a bus trip. So we're up and moving again. And I'm sure as soon as it hit the circuit, it blew it because it sold out so fast. Probably got people on standby, sure, by now. So that's good. So it's a day to go out and just enjoy yourself. New York at your own leisure, taking a play, do some shopping, some fine eateries, and just enjoy a day to get away. So we look forward to that. It should be the beginning of greater things to plan for in the year ahead. Let's see, am I missing anything else? For the Christmas thing, you want to talk about the donation for the shelters, Abby? What we'll be collecting?
Yeah, we're actually at the tree lighting. We're going to be collecting Toys for Tots again this year.
Okay.
The police department is a drop-off location, so we're going to chip into that collection. They didn't need any more pajamas, so.
Or no more undies?
No.
Okay. So that'll be good too. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone out. That's going to be exciting. I'm sure that the old schoolhouse will be open. That's always nice. And
no bows.
no bows, but yeah, we can do bows. And by then, like you said, the street lights will be up, the Christmas tree will be up, and it's just going to be a beautiful place to be. And we're also going to be having our house decorating contest again this year. So it'll be on the website, the categories for the home decorating contest, and hopefully we can get some of our businesses to participate as well. So it should be fun because the township is going to be lit this year. So everybody should be looking for a very festive time. Thank you. In regards to COG, there's no new business. We're just recirculating information, looking for things to bring in panelists for 2025. So we were just tossing around some ideas. Who would we like to come in? What we would like to really talk about? A lot of the things that came up were like the transportation infrastructure throughout Chester County. That was a big hit. Like, you know, we got population explosion. You know, we keep talking about traffic issues. How can we avoid some of the impact of traffic? It'll be what year before the PennDOT comes to and put in a new roadway system on the Route 30 bypass? So what can we do to challenge some of these obstacles to get more people interested in public transportation and connecting the dots to some of the rural areas in the county where people can't get to mainstream? Thorndale Station, the new Coatesville Station, the Exton Station, the new Downeytown Station. How can we, you know, improve accessibility to those areas? So that was a big issue of concern for many. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting all teary-eyed?
No. Getting sleepy-eyed.
For municipal authority, at our last CTMA meeting, Gilmore and Associates are engineering, currently working on the design of phase 2 portion of the Ray Road project, which will involve the relocation, lowering, and installation of a new sanitary sewer main associated with that. The work is anticipated to be completed in 2025. Gilmore also finished assembling the bid pack for the 2025 grouting project, which it went live on Penn Bid on October 18th and anticipated bid opening in November. Has it already happened? End of the month? Okay. All right. And Gilmore sent the plans for the County Meeting House Granger Lane Sewer Extension Project, the Williams Transco pipeline on September 30th. For them to review for the proposed crossing of their gas pipeline. There's Patty. Yeah, I know Patty's involved with that one. All right, and as far as DARA, they're still in the process of working on design, permitting, financing, and possible grant for the modernization project, which hopefully will come to fruition. That'll be incredible. All right, and Fire Board. We have not had a meeting yet. I think we're supposed to meet later this month or early next month. Historical Commission.
Thank you. The Historical Commission is winding down another busy year. We met on Wednesday, October 16th. Our biggest agenda item was approval of our 2025 budget request. We discussed how popular the summer schoolhouse and meeting house tours have become and ways to enhance the visitor experience in 2025. Hey, if you've driven Kings Highway between North Valley and Kings Highway Tavern this week, you might have noticed a crew removing the farmhouse roof at Spackman Davis Farm.
Getting it done.
Beautiful site. I understand the replacement should be finished in a matter of weeks. But I mean, just the new flashing, it just looks, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Last Saturday, Old Town Historical Society, Historical Commission, and the township held the first historic photo scanning event right here.
Right.
I believe the Historical Commission paid for the scanner for the township, and OCHS has provided this great. We have a little museum out here now, so come by and look at it. But the individual who brought the coolest picture, whose name I don't know, and Abby will fill us in, will be lighting the Town Holiday Tree on December 8th.
All right. All right. And do we know this person? Or is it a surprise?
Yeah.
Yes. And lastly, we meet again next Wednesday, the 19th at 7 p.m. You can join us right here live or from home via Zoom. We're a group of doers who have a ton of fun getting things done and never met a roadblock that could slow us down. We'd love to have a few more doers join our team.
Live, remember. You were about to say, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm sorry. Mark and I enjoy the same humor. It's a known fact.
And some people don't consider human.
I know. Right. Lincoln Highway.
So we did not meet last month due to a budget committee meeting, but we are planning on meeting this month. What's our date? 26th. So we'll meet then and discuss steps forward and as well as things for next year.
Are they excited about the Christmas lighting?
I am. Can't contain myself.
It's like coming out of darkness to the.
I love it. Okay, Ingleside Golf Course. Lorraine.
Hi, this is Lorraine Tindaro. Ingleside Golf Report for 11/12/24. Ingleside Golf reports a strong October and November looks promising. Aerification of the course has been completed. Nicole Shannon will soon make a special public announcement regarding the new golf pro and operations manager hire. Planning events and fundraisers into 2025 continue. Roof repair for Pro Shop has been completed. Tractor and sprayer have been purchased. Prices $33,700 and $70,602 respectively to enhance course maintenance and condition. Considering spring 2025 Ingleside golf jobs, they're going to have a jobs fair. Our next golf meeting will be the last Monday of November, which is 11/25/24 at 12 noon at the golf course. I want to say thanks for everything, and that's it.
All right, thank you, Lorraine. All right,
You're welcome.
Done with the liaisons, additional businesses. Commissioners? None at this time? Don, nothing? All right, public comment at this time. Just Tony Desario, one up.
Tony Desario, 251 Loomis Ave.
Hey, Tony.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to comment on the guy on the apartments on 340. I'd be glad to see them out of there because the traffic is horrendous now everywhere. I mean, but it's just going to add to it. But my concern is the coal wharf over there, the dust. I don't know if they have a water wagon over there, not going to have a water wagon, Ray. But the coal has come down. The coal dust is actually down on my picnic tables, on my furniture and everything. The black, the actual coal dust.
What?
And I couldn't believe it. I said, and I didn't even realize it was out there. My wife was out there with the baby, and we went out, and it was black, just like this.
So
Now I'm sure by now most of it's gone but the other dust is blowing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen it at your place or not.
I can't say I have, but I'm not home a lot. Maybe my wife cleans it up before I get home. I don't know.
Anyway, that was my complaint. And then also, like I said, there'll probably be more expansion. If it wasn't for the traffic. Traffic is very, very bad. I mean, it is bad. You can't get on the bypass in the morning.
It's everywhere.
Lined up. You get on, like the lady said, she takes 35, 40 minutes just to get that. I use Route 30. It's hard. If there's an accident, done.
Hey, Ray, you want to comment on the coal dust?
Yeah.
Have we noticed anything anywhere else?
Yeah,
You don't
what's
want to
that?
comment?
Yeah, no,
I don't want to get involved in
no,
this.
I should have
Not
brought the
really.
picnic table down here and brought it in.
You should have. I actually, you're the first one that said that. I don't understand that because they finished encapsulating that quite a while ago. So I'm not saying that's not the case. I just can't explain that.
Before they put the fence, the fence used to be open,
Mhm.
and I went up there,
Right.
and you could walk over the tracks and you could see it. It's just everywhere. It's horrible.
Now, as far as the dust, again, we stay on them pretty heavily, and I'm not saying that there isn't dust, but they have water trucks running on a regular basis. So, we're doing the best we can when it comes to that. But
It was really bad, as dry as it been.
that's part of the problem. I mean,
Little rain, but
yeah,
it's good.
it should die out soon, just because they are stabilizing a lot of the areas that had been disturbed. Because now the roads or most of the roads are paved, and a lot of those areas are matted and seeded now. So that should continue to decrease as time goes on.
Somebody told me the bridge is nice looking.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a chance right now, it's still probably blocked off, but we just issued building permits for the model townhomes and the model single family, so that area will be opened up soon.
Okay, I just wondered. It was just a concern because back long.
Oh, geez.
Kids out there.
Yeah. All right, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else here in the township building? Oh, yes, come on up.
Yeah. Got one more point as I sat back there. Hilarious Steel Varnish Road. In regard to the Mary Ann Griffith, we as a board, we did our part. Mary Ann Griffith, who was the last, had developers who came to her every week. And we were so lucky that her concern. Her concern was the love of Callan Township and to preserve the open space, and that
Right.
meant so much to her. And she was the one who came to us and said, I will do this because I don't. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's been a number of years. If I'm not mistaken, the way we had that plan was always that was going to be a passive park. Our manager at that time, he did have great ideas that throw at. We were talking about making an amphitheater.
Yeah, I remember.
And the farmhouse itself, we had talked about that there are not a lot of places for meetings and small parties. One of the thoughts for that farmhouse was to put in a nice kitchen and rent that out and use that as an income to invite people to use it to have an anniversary party, small party. Also, if I'm not mistaken, other thing we had planned was if we ever wanted to, that house, I think, came with 13 acres, right? 13 sticks in my head. That we could sell that. We could sell that partial as a private. And that land across the street, which yes, we did have at the time we had thought for a new township building. That, if I'm not mistaken, was going to be our maintenance.
Huh.
But that was always our thoughts.
To leave it open.
Was to be open, to preservation. And I will tell you, Mary Ann Griffith, I'm sure, will come to these meetings. It really meant so much to her, and it was to her kindness. And the almighty dollar was not as important to her as keeping that preserved for the history and story of our township.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mary.
No.
Any other comments here in the township?
So moved.
Any in Zoom? But none in Zoom? All right, well, before we adjourn, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Enjoy the family and friends that you have. And don't forget, first Sunday in December, we have the tree lighting. Hope to see you all there.
December 8th.
Oh, second Sunday?
The 8th, yeah.
Oh, it is?
The 8th.
It's December 8th at 5 p.m.
It was the first, okay, I stand corrected. All right, well, if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.